Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Intelligent Training Holistic Health. We are your hosts, James and Francesca. And today we're going to be talking about, firstly, the Liver King has been exposed. And secondly, we're going to give you a good amount of detail about fiber.
I think talking about the Liver King, for those of you who don't know who the Liver King is, we'll explain in just a moment.
Yeah.
But I think it's a really interesting thing that he is exposed for people who perhaps followed him and believed in everything he said, first of all, to make you realize not to believe all the quick fixes in the fitness industry.
Yeah, very true.
Don't fall for the too good to be true kind of things.
Yeah. It's always the way. That sadly is always the way.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, but the cool thing, well, not the cool thing he did, but the really clever thing he did, he created a problem and then said, "Oh, I've got the solution," and that was his liver tablet. So what he did, he was famous.
Explain.
Yeah, so he was a huge, like, jacked guy, like really muscular, looked really good. He believed in, he called it like ancestral tenets. So we used to live like our ancestors. So he believed in just eating raw meat, basically. So he ate a lot of raw meat and especially raw liver. So that's why it was called the Liver King. But the cool thing he did was he said, because he was in such great shape, everybody wanted to look like him. So he said, I do this by obviously training hard, by eat a lot of liver. And obviously people don't like liver when it's cooked, let alone when it's raw. Yeah. So he created the problem of, if you want to look like me, you need to eat liver. But if you don't want to eat liver, then take my supplements that I've designed, and this will make you look like me. And everyone's like, oh, damn. So they buy all the supplements. And unfortunately, they don't have the PEDs in them. So people didn't become massive like he is. So the thing is, he just came out. So he used to go on podcasts and he said that he was never taking any steroids. He wasn't taking any PEDs. And now it's come out that he was taking about £12,000 worth of steroids every month. So it's he was taking a decent amount of steroids. But if you're already in the fitness industry, I actually said this on another podcast, he was clearly taking steroids. If you've been in the industry for a while and you know about human physiology and kind of what's possible, you know he was taking steroids. But for the kind of average Joe that doesn't really know any better and it's not their fault at all, then he's obviously lied to a lot of people. So this is where it's kind of bitten him in the ass a bit. Yeah.
Or it's just given him even more of a platform because people like us nobodies, everyone's talking about him even more now, aren't they? Because he's exposed, so it's almost
so one of the things I took away from it, because they broke down he had a whole strategy of, so he hired a whole team and he said he's gonna do like run these steroids, and within a year he wants to have over 1 million followers on Instagram. So he had all these metrics that he wanted to hit. So it was like a whole PR stunt.
Yeah.
And he hit all these metrics. So it was super clever how he did it.
Completely premeditated, isn't it?
Oh, massively premeditated. But it's to be honest, it's the way the strategy was set up and the way he executed it was unbelievable.
Very clever.
Fair play, because he has made hundreds of millions. And that's the one thing that I took away from it. It's sad. Yeah, sadly, you need some sort of strategy, I think, to create a good business, because obviously we're trainers, we do well at our jobs, but all of our clients just come from referrals.
Yeah.
So it just made me think, damn, you actually need some sort of strategy to get that big. Obviously, we don't want to be that big, but he made it so big because he had some crazy strategy and a crazy team behind him. Yeah. That's just what I took away from it. I was like, it's just makes you think that you need to be obviously a bit more business smart and a bit wiser when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that is the hot topic from the fitness community news.
Yeah. So if you
do know the Liver King, he has been exposed. He is no longer. No, he will. But this is the sad thing. So this is more. I wouldn't say the Liver King is the problem. The Liver King is just a symptom of the problem. And the problem is everybody wanting to have a quick fix.
Everyone.
So we all want the take the pill instead of doing the working out or whatever it is. So he was just a symptom of the problem, which is everybody wants a quick fix. And that's what he was selling. That's why he made so much money. And that's why he did so well.
We want it with everything, don't we? It's the same as what marketing things on fitness magazines and on social media do the best. It's the ones like the before and afters, because everybody looks at the before and after and they don't read between the lines if that before and after, first of all, is true, which 9 times out of 10, those before and afters aren't true. And you can, I think some people on social media have shown how easy it is to do a before and after.
They used to do a lot before and after the same day.
Using lighting,
shape
makeup,
yourself up, get a little bit of baby oil,
and everything. Make all sorts of things you can do to make before and afters within hours of each other look like you've been training for a while. But what I think people look at is they always look at where they started on these before and after photos and where they're at, and they think, oh, well, that must be really easy and really quick. They don't think about the in-between, if they're real, how many years, weeks, months, whatever it is, it takes to get to that physique goal, if that's what it is. And it's the same with the marketing of, oh, well, I just ate this for a month and look at me now. Well, that's not no food is magic. And this is something we're going into today, is talking the importance of fiber. And the reason we were talking about the Liver King in the beginning as well is not only because it is a hot topic right now, but also because he's missing a key ingredient in his diet.
Fiber, because he's eating just meat. So eating just meat it can be problematic because you miss a lot of other nutrients. So when people do just eat one kind of food source, or they take something out of the diet, it often comes with ramifications. And for example, for the Liver King, well, his ramification was he was taking too many steroids. Well, but if he was just purely eating liver, he wouldn't be getting a good balanced diet anyway. So it's all everything in moderation. And you do need to get all the nutrients if possible. And that's the same with any diet, that people harp on about. And it's the same as what we always say, don't we? If somebody's saying something to you within the fitness industry, we're talking about now, in absolute terms, question them, because it's the same. The way we live, the way we choose to eat, the way we exercise isn't necessarily what we give our clients, because you meet everybody where they're at, and everybody needs balance. But we wouldn't go, if we liked keto, for example, the keto diet is a huge one. If we were on that keto train, we would be missing out key ingredients. And I've been on the keto train. I've done it before. But that's it. But that's the thing. So if someone is like the keto guy, then the keto guy is going to try and sell you the ketogenic diet. Or if somebody is, the vegan girl, then they're going to try and push a vegan diet on you. If someone has their name next to a specific diet, guess what they're going to try and sell you? And that's a diet. They're going to try and sell you that diet. But if a real coach or someone who really knows physiology or knows what they're talking about, they will never try and push one specific diet on you. No. Because that's what they think is the be all or end all. And people get so tied to specific nutrient methodologies. They think it's like a religion. And training. And training, everything. So CrossFit, vegans, everyone, they just get in these little camps, and then that is it. That's Don't talk identity. To me if you're not vegan, or if you're not carnivore, whatever it is. Not knocking any diet. Every single diet does work. But when you get in these little groups of people, this is when it can kind of be problematic. And then they just push their agenda on you rather than looking at you as a client and then seeing what you prefer, what your body does well off. There's so many different factors that come into determining a diet for a specific person. And that's what a good coach will do. Don't ever listen to absolutes. Don't ever listen to absolutes. The Liver King was very buff, looked tremendous, but like everyone already knew, he was full to the brim of steroids. But that leads us on to our next topic. Nice segue, I would say. I'm into fiber. Good. So today we are obviously getting into fiber, and the reason we've chosen this topic so specifically is because I think it's one that people don't know enough information about, and therefore don't hold it in very high regard in how it can transform your diet and health. So there's so much fiber can do for you. It's so beneficial, but people, but then it's not very sexy, so people don't really talk about it as much.
Yeah. So we're the non-sexy.
As you can tell, we're not sexy. We are the yes, all right. As you can tell, as you can tell, I'm the non-sexy person.
No.
But I don't know what I was going about. But anyway, yeah, so we speak about non-sexy things. Sometimes we speak about sexy things when we're on our own. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, James, carry on. So fiber is good for...
Can you just explain, first of all, because what fiber is for people who don't know or don't really understand where it comes in the diet?
Yeah.
What is fiber?
Fiber is a constituent of carbohydrates. So fiber comes as a part of kind of carbohydrates, and it is usually kind of the cell walls or the kind of the building blocks of kind of fruits and vegetables. Fiber, it doesn't really have, even though it's a carbohydrate, it doesn't really have the same calorie quantity as 1 gram of carbohydrate. So 1 gram of carbohydrate would have 4 calories, but whereas fiber, because there's different types, so there's insoluble, there's soluble fiber, and these don't really get broken down in the body, so they don't really have a calorie amount set to them. But if they do it, it's usually around 1.5 to 2.5 calories per gram of fiber. But usually you wouldn't really count it. You would just usually, if you are counting calories, I would just count it as part of your carbohydrates.
Yeah.
But with fiber, it doesn't really get broken down in the body. So it's used for so many different things. And when it does get broken down, it will be more the kind of soluble fiber, and that will get broken down in the colon, which would get used by the bacteria. And
so what benefits are there to fiber? Why is it so important for us?
So fiber is amazing for things like cardiovascular disease. It lowers cholesterol. It helps with insulin sensitivity. It can help with weight loss. It can help with taking turds. So elimination. There's so much fiber can help with, and increasing it in your diet is such an important thing, because at the moment, currently in the UK, I think it's 13% of men are hitting the daily required amounts, and 4% of women are hitting the daily required amounts.
That's horrendous numbers.
That's terrible. So that's so small, because a lot of the things we eat at the moment are processed foods, and during processing, fiber gets taken out of the food.
Yeah.
And we don't eat as many fruits as vegetables anymore. There's a lot of missing parts of our diet just because of how processed and how quick we need things. You don't really get the fiber in there.
And I've noticed this in I won't like say their names of what the boxes are, but you know, the boxes of food that you can get, you get all the ingredients and you cook it up.
Oh yeah, we used to get them.
Cool. I can't remember what they're called now, and my brain's gone. Yeah. Anyway, there's loads of them now, isn't there? There's loads of companies that do them. But even those, when we had a few, as fun as they are and as convenient as they are, because you've got all the right amounts and you put it in and you make your dinner.
Yeah.
How I think every single
it's add vegetables to them.
Every single dinner we added vegetables, because even the amount of vegetables was just so small.
Yeah.
It was such a small amount. And you think people are probably having that, and then still it's super popular to be having cereal or something for breakfast, isn't it? Because that's such an ingrained thing that yes, some cereals say that they've got fiber in them, but again, if you're not reading and looking at the amount per grams, how do you know how much you're getting there? And then lots of people may or may not have lunch. Some people just snack on quick bars and things. So if you think about that over your day, you're really not getting a lot of fiber, which is why it's 4%. Which is horrendous. And that, I would say, just throwing in the stereotype, is that most diets are advertised at women, and there probably are a higher amount of women on a diet.
Women are smaller people, generally smaller, so then you eat less as well.
Yeah,
so a man's calorie needs is higher.
Yeah.
So just by that, you'll end up getting more fiber anyway, because you'll get more of everything.
Yeah, but actually still, so then the 14%, is it 14 or 13 for men? Then still that's not great either, is it? Yeah, awful.
Yeah, useless.
So
not good at all. So one of the ways that, especially for looking after good microbiome, so that's a big hot topic at the moment. And for example, insulin sensitivity. So the way this works from fiber is when we eat fiber, especially soluble fiber. So the difference between soluble fiber and insoluble fiber, soluble fiber is soluble. For example, if you put it in water, it will become viscous and it will start, it's a bit more soluble in water, sorry. And then insoluble fiber is obviously is not very soluble. It's still soluble. So it's not going to be, what's the word I'm trying to say here? You know the word I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, so hey,
pliable. You love that word.
Not pliable, but yeah.
No, I'm just joking. If you want to say that word, don't you?
Yes, more my favorite word. But you get what I mean. So one is soluble in fiber, one's insoluble in water. Anyway, carry on. I'm rambling. Anyway, so the way this works for a healthy gut microbiome, so the bacteria within your gut. So when soluble fiber goes into your gut, then the bacteria actually eat this soluble fiber. So this is one of the things bacteria eat. So if you can get the soluble fiber into your gut, then the bacteria will eat it. They turn it into something called short chain fatty acids. And this is actually the fuel for the colonocytes of your colon. So these are basically the epithelial cells within your colon, and this keeps them healthy. So this is one of the ways that this can actually help with keeping your gut microbiome healthy. And this will help prevent kind of opportunistic bacteria trying to take over. So keeping the healthy gut microbiome healthy is super important. So that's how soluble fiber works. And another way soluble fiber, so for example, insulin sensitivity is exactly the same route. The bacteria will eat it. They'll create the short chain fatty acids. And one of the short chain fatty acids it can create is something called butyrate. And butyrate has been shown to increase insulin sensitivity. So especially for kind of diabetics or people PCOS, insulin sensitivity is very important. So then fiber can help with this as well. So yeah, so it's so good for so many different things.
And explain how it's an aid for weight loss.
So weight loss, so the main one for weight loss is really, it's very satiating.
Yeah. So
it's very similar to protein. Protein and fiber are very satiating. So the way fiber works, different to protein, fiber enters the stomach, and then you get a stretch. So it stretches the stomach, and this releases chemicals to the brain from the stretch receptors within the stomach. So these chemicals go to the brain and they tell us that we're full. So it'll prevent you from eating as much. So this is a good way to, if you are on a weight loss diet, trying to eat more fiber later in the day. This will then make you feel fuller. And because later in the day is when people usually tend to snack. Yeah,
you get that dip of energy when people are looking for.
Yeah, that's it. And because everyone's willpower, your willpower starts tapping out later in the day. Yeah. So you have less and less willpower. But if you put a bit more fiber to the end of your day, this will keep you fuller. And this hopefully will prevent you from snacking.
Yeah.
So the main way is just from the stretch, and it affects the stretch receptors within the stomach.
So when people say things like, when people throw things in there like it's great for weight loss, what we're trying to achieve on this podcast is giving you the real information as to why with everything. So it's not a magic ingredient that helps with weight loss. What you can see is it helps by keeping you fuller, obviously, and then looking at the health benefits of it as well. So nothing is ever magic. It's all it all has a purpose within your body.
Yeah, that's right. It. So hopefully with these podcasts, if we can explain to you a bit more the knowledge or the mechanics behind certain things, then you get a bit more of a buy-in, and you think, I'm taking fiber for this reason, or I'm doing this for this reason. Yeah. Instead of us just trying to sell you some, I don't know,
magic fiber supplement.
Or whatever it is. Yeah, this is a better way, just so you understand, and then you can take this away and implement it in your life, in your kids' lives, or whatever it is.
Because what's the recommended amount of fiber a day now? Is it 30 grams?
Yeah, about 30 grams. It's like 28 grams for women and 36 grams for men.
Yeah.
But another calculation is to 14 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories you're eating. Right. So then if you're eating 4,000 calories, then that's going to be a lot more than the 28 or the 36.
Yeah.
So then just pick. So if you are a woman and you're a lot bigger, then you're going to need more fiber because you're eating more calories.
Yeah.
Okay. So either be 28 grams for women, 36 grams for men, or do the 14 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories you're eating.
Yeah.
And so with fiber as well, one of the more common things known about fiber is how it helps lower cholesterol. So this is one of the big ones, and how this actually works. So again, we're trying to explain some of the mechanisms. So how this works is your body produces bile. So this is done in the liver, and this is done by cholesterol. So cholesterol is needed to create bile salts in the liver. This then goes into the gallbladder. This is stored in the gallbladder. And then when you eat, for example, a fatty meal, the gallbladder will release bile into the duodenum. This is part of your small intestine. And then this will start helping to emulsify fat and break it down. However, when you eat fiber comes in, and so I should have mentioned. So because bile is an expensive process for the body, and it's a costly process for the body to make bile, so it wants to recirculate it. So it goes through something called enterohepatic circulation, and this is basically just from the liver into the intestines and then back to the liver to get recycled, and this just carries on. So if you eat fiber, this can't happen, because when bile comes into the duodenum and fiber's there, fiber binds to bile and then it can't get recirculated, so it has to be eliminated. So this comes out then in your feces. Right. So then bile comes out in your feces, and because it comes out, then the body says, we don't have as much bile anymore, so then we have to remake bile, and remaking bile comes from cholesterol. Right. So this is how it gets lowered.
Right. So very good.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Nailed it, people. There you go.
So that's how you lower your cholesterol. With that, what kind of things can you implement into your diet to help build up your fiber?
Good, cool.
So, sorry to interrupt you again, because we obviously, now these are, I wouldn't say they're quick fixes at all, but things that we do that are really easy in the morning is we use chia seeds, flax seeds, maca powder, in our smoothie.
Yeah. So these are basically kind of fiber supplements.
Yeah.
For not having a better term. Yeah. So these are kind of fiber supplements. Because we have smoothies in the morning,
that just works for us well.
It just works really well for us. And the best way to kind of just for us to get some more fiber into our diet is via chia seeds. We have flax seeds. I have a banana.
I have oats.
You have oats. Yeah, oats are brilliant. Maca. Yeah. I think that's probably it.
Yeah, I mean, and then
throw a few some fruits and veggies in there. So this is how we just have quick fixes in the morning. And again, with those kind of things like the flax seeds or chia seeds, these are really good to stick on yogurt. So I'll stick this in a yogurt. So then it's an easy way just to gain a little bit of fiber into your diet.
Yeah.
So having little sneaky quick fixes like that are really handy just to try and increase your fiber intake. And then other things.
Sorry to interrupt, but especially if you're already having a smoothie or you're having yogurt or oats, which are all quite popular things for breakfast. If you're having those and you're missing out on those little supplementations that we said, those add-ins that you could put over your breakfast, that is one of the quickest ways that you can then really go quick. Perfect.
And then a really good way to get in kind of your omega-3s from your chia seeds and your flax seeds as well. So good fats as well.
Yeah.
So it's a really useful tip. I'm glad you brought that up.
Thank you.
And then different things like adding, leaving the potato skins on your potatoes. That's another easy way.
I do that. I know this is probably horrible, but we don't tend to do mashed potato that much, just because we eat, like, we make food really quickly, don't we? Everything's a rush.
We're basic.
We're basic. We are so basic. But we have done mash before, and it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I always leave the skin on.
Yeah.
Don't know.
It's nice.
I know it's still, the skin's in there, and it's but
we do.
But we always leave the skin on, and it's usually just because of those things that we're thinking about in our head. I feel like it's such a waste. Taking the skin off when there's such good things in it that I just think, oh well, I'll leave it.
It's just because we've been in this game for so long, we know all the little tricks and like hacks.
We eat more for, like, we always say that we eat by looking at our plate and going, have I got protein? Have I got carbs, fats, vegetables, blah blah blah. Whereas I think other normal people, because I would say we're not really normal in that respect, they look and they recipes. Go, I want a lasagna tonight, or I want bolognese. I don't know. I want a dish, and I'm just like, I don't care as long as I've got a really good amount of vegetables. But we try and make it tasty.
It definitely tastes good.
Great,
it tastes good.
But it's just more separated ingredients, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's why I say that those supplementations and things, they're really great, because whatever your overall food is in the morning, whatever your dish is that you like, it's not anything too invasive or different that you can't just add it on top, and it's not like they taste of anything, so it's not a strong
not at all. No,
taste or anything.
They're brilliant. They are super easy to add in. And then things like whole grains, so changing from kind of white rice to brown rice, then that's going to be a good insoluble fiber. Whole wheat bread, more insoluble. Whole wheat pasta, more insoluble. Try and have fruits and veggies at every meal, if you can, because they're brilliant. Because fruits and vegetables actually have both soluble and insoluble fiber in there. A lot of foods will have both in there. So yeah, it's good, and it's good to get a good mix, so a good diverse mix of things. So obviously depending what you want, but for example, for example in fiber helping with elimination, there's different types of fiber that will help with different things. So for example, insoluble, so even within insoluble fiber, bigger particles of insoluble fiber can aggravate the kind of mucosal lining within the colon or within the intestines, and this will make the mucosal barrier secrete more mucus, and then this will allow for an easier passing of a stool. And then again, smaller insoluble fiber, like for example, oat bran, this won't aggravate the mucosal barrier, but what it will do, it will add mass to the stool. So then this will again allow it to pass easier, because the way the intestines work, they work through like a wave-like contraction. So like a wave-like, and it moves it all down. So it's called peristalsis. And this is how food moves through your intestines. So how I like to say this: if you add bulk to the stool, then this is like squeezing a full tube of toothpaste. When you squeeze it, it comes out so much easier because it's full and there's a lot of bulk. But when you don't have much toothpaste in there, when you do try squeezing it, nothing really comes out.
That's how don't I leave the toothpaste till the last drop.
People are saying that.
I leave it till the last bit, and sometimes
she's getting both hands in there trying to squeeze that like a little squirrel.
And then sometimes I put my toothbrush out and I say, James, can you squeeze it for me?
It's living with this person, people, it's ridiculous.
And then he goes, we just need to get some toothpaste. I was like, I know.
This was about 3 weeks ago. She got some toothpaste. Anyway, I thought my toothpaste analogy was pretty good until you ruined it.
Sorry. No, but that is great. So the less bulk.
So if you had, so then fiber will add bulk to the stool as well, then which therefore makes it easier to pass. So there are so many, we could probably keep going for a long time about fiber, but there are so many positive effects that it will have on you. One good study, actually, there was a research study, I think for every, and this is the cool thing, so there hasn't been shown to be an upper limit for fiber. So you can literally just keep on eating fiber and the benefits will keep growing. So there was one study that showed for every 10 grams of fiber eaten, you decrease mortality by 10%.
Wow.
So you have a less chance of dying by 10% for each 10 gram increase. So that's crazy. Just because of all the effects that we've said about the cardiovascular disease, all that kind of stuff. So by increasing your fiber, you will decrease your likelihood of dying. That's correct. So it is crazy. So fiber is such an amazing part of nutrition that people don't really talk about, but we do on Intelligent Training Holistic Health. We really do. So hopefully you've got some takeaways and you can add some extra fiber into your diet. And as always, if you have any questions or you'd like us to cover any topics, please do get in touch and let us know. We'd love to hear from everyone. We'd love to hear from everyone. Thank you, James, for your amazing explanations. You're most welcome. I feel like I learnt a lot. There we go. Always teaching. At least somebody did. Well, everybody, till next time, I'm James. Oh, no. What? No. No, that's so cheesy. Not doing that. All right, later, team. We'll see you next week.